Hi, I'm Pastor Clay, the teaching pastor at New Hope Community Church. I'd like to ask you a question. How many days can you live at a time? You ever thought about that? Well, that's a question my father asked me. I was at the height of anxiety attacks. I remember going into his office one day, just laying out everything that I was afraid of that could happen. You name it, you live it, the future, the economy, whatever, raising children. And he stopped and he looked at me and said, "How many days can you live at a time?" I said, "Only one." He said, "Why don't you just focus on today and get what you can get done today and don't worry about the rest?" Well, you know, that was so simple, so pointed, but yet such powerful advice. Well, this Sunday, we're going to be talking about the last of our series, What Keeps You Up at Night. And we've talked about grief and how our grief, loss over a family member, loss over a job, loss over our hopes and dreams can cause us much pain, and how do we have to identify that pain and be very honest with ourselves and God about what that pain has caused us. And then we talked about this last week, the end of grief. You have a choice. You can either live in self-pity, or you can, come to the Lord, come to God and allow Him to heal your damaged emotions and allow you to continue to live in His strength and His power. Or we can go self-pity, which becomes a kind of a self-medicating form of life where you control life and you block out any further hurts and pains. Well, for me, I know I've been down both of these roads, and I had to come to a choice once in my life where I had to decide I was no longer going to live in self-pity. I was going to continue to live. I was going to turn to God. But even though I made that decision, what I didn't realize that there was a huge vacuum in my life of fear. And if you don't have fear, then if you're living in fear, then you don't live by faith. And so you have to make a choice at that time. You have to grapple with your fears in faith. You have to turn to God and allow Him to heal you, but there's that letting go. There's that letting go of all your props and all your controls and all the things you do to insulate yourself from being hurt again and from living by fear. And really in this world there are no certainties. We try to put our hopes in the next election, but you know as well as I do that no man is ever to turn our fears around, that he can't fix everything. And we can turn to medications, but they really don't deal with our fear. They just deal with the symptoms of our fear. There comes a time when we have to really let go and let God have our future. But when you do that, you realize you have a future that is not just here. It's a future that is eternal. And that only comes when we surrender. We surrender our lives to Jesus Christ. We allow Him to enter our lives, and we have a guarantee of the future. It's called the Holy Spirit. He said it's a deposit for the future. We're going to talk about that this Sunday. I hope you will come. I'm going to talk about some of my fears that I still have and how I have to turn them over to God. Maybe you can deal with yours there too. Hope you'll join us this Sunday. Thank you. God